Wake up.
And her face was all scratched up.
Look here. Wake up. Talk to us.
Slamming her head into the ground. All of a sudden, we heard Mary scream.
Yeah, she was on the grass and he literally just grabbed her up by her hair and
Do you know where you're at?
Neighbors described seeing Smith drag Mary Ellen Williams across the front yard. She died of blunt force trauma.
Friends, in this episode of Imbeciles Are Us, we have Patrick Smith. He and his girlfriend, Mary Williams, got into an argument and her body winds up in the street. Police then bring him in for questioning. Watch how Sleeping Beauty tries to get away with it.
We just got the phone with your mama.
She's worried about you. We told her that she wasn't hurt, nothing like that. She's worried about you getting hurt. And we told her that you weren't hurt. And then we needed to talk to you. She said you're a good man.
Patrick, do you know where you're at? Hey, let's make this simple, man. All right? I know you're listening to us because when the deputies come to your house or to your camper, you open the door with your hands up. Okay? So you're hearing everything I say. All right? I have a feeling you know why you're here. So if we're wasting your time, all you got to say is, hey, get me on over to the jail. If not, if you want to talk about what occurred tonight, we got to read you something. But I'm not going to sit here and try to sit here and wake you up and do all this other kind of crap for you to try to talk to us. Understand?
We're not in business of playing games, Patrick. Do you want to talk to us about why you're here or not?
Is that a no? All you got to say is no. Okay, good enough. You can go back to sleep.
Second. Take you on over there to the jail.
So yeah, that's the end of his police interview. Muppet just slept his whole way through. However, this is Tammy Perez. She was a friend of Mary's. She's going to explain to you how much of a violent man Patrick was.
And how would you describe Mary? Is she white, black, Hispanic?
White, older.
White, older female?
Yeah, white hair.
And then what about Patrick?
White, older. Like it was.
White male, black male, Hispanic male?
Black male.
So they're both older?
Yeah. Well, he might be 40, maybe 40s, not older, but not in his 40s. I'm not quite sure how old he is.
What is their relationship?
On again, off again, dating.
Dating?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know he moved out for a while, and then moved back in recently. And
so dating / roommates?
Yeah, I think yeah. And I try to stay out of everybody's. I don't really talk to neighbors. I mind my own business pretty much. But
now, do they normally have issues? Do they normally have problems?
Yeah. She knew he was gonna. She said before that he was gonna kill her.
Okay. Told that to you.
She's come over, and we've tried to get her to call the police, and she wouldn't. But she come over a couple months, maybe two months ago, and her face was all scratched up, and she had a black eye, and he had gotten her, but she wouldn't call the police,
and then so there's been a history between the two of them, and her kind of not calling, but it's been witnessed by other people.
Oh yeah,
and you've seen it.
The actual contact, no.
But you've seen the results of.
Yeah. And he has said that, he even admitted she did it. He said that, she makes me mad. I don't know why she does this stupid stuff. She makes me mad and I just lose it. And I'm like, well, that's between you guys. And, two wrongs don't make a right.
No, absolutely. On today's date, do you know the gist of about when things started happening between them? Or what it was over?
I don't. I heard. I had taken a nap earlier, so I had gotten up. My little sister came home about 7:45 or 7:30, something like that. She was working. And I was up. I was talking to my son. And she had walked in the bedroom and was doing something. And I heard somebody yell Toni, which is my little sister's name. Mm-hmm. And Toni came out of the room and she's like, did you hear something? And I was like, yeah, it sounded like somebody was yelling. So she went out there. And as soon as she ran out the door, the way she screamed Mary, I knew what was going on. I knew immediately what was going on. And she ran, and I ran after her.
So she opened that door, and she immediately saw what was going
she
on.
opened. Yeah, she opened the door, and she opened the door and pushed the gate. The
walk-through gate.
Yeah, not the gate.
The latch.
The screen door. Sorry,
Mm.
I don't know why I couldn't get that in my head. Screen door, and she looked. When she turned, she yelled Mary and ran out. And I went after her.
And when you went out, what did you see?
When I ran out, I grabbed a firearm. When I went out, my husband's a retired state trooper. We have guns throughout the house.
Yes, ma'am.
And I ran up because I knew what I was going to see, because the way my sister was yelling, and she's yelling, I think she's yelled, get off her, get the fuck off of her, something like that. And I went down the stairs, and she hit him and got her off of him, and looked up and looked right into my gun, but my sister moved, so I dropped the gun, and he went running, like, to go away.
So your sister hit him
With a shovel.
With a shovel? Okay. And so that got him off of her.
Miriam.
And then you said he looked up and saw the gun and took off running?
He looked up, and, like, had stood up. Like, she hit him, knocked him off. He, like, stood up and stumbled, like, a step or two.
Mm-hmm.
And then, looked up, saw, and then took off running. And then they were calling, and I don't know who I hit the gun to, and said, take it in the house, because I saw the police coming down the street. And I was trying to do CPR. I turned her over, and when I turned her, I knew.
Yeah.
But my mom's yelling, do something, so I tried to do CPR. She had a weak pulse then, and the police officer came. I asked him, do you have a mask? She needs breath. Do you have a mask? And that's when the other one came up, and they just moved me out of the way from them. And
okay.
She was gasping.
And you
for
know
air.
Patrick from
Mm-hmm.
living there for the year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And he was friends with my sister too. They, when he needed, like, odd jobs, like works, like, we needed stuff brought into the house, like furniture and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. We'd give him a couple bucks to help, things like that.
And Mary seems to be more friends with your sister as well?
Yeah.
That's why she yelled her name?
Yeah, my mom, yeah.
Okay. When he took off running, did he say anything?
When he took off running, I stayed on the property, and I followed to the property to make sure he was staying gone. And he went toward the house and turned back. And I thought he was going to come back, but he didn't. It looked like he was going into the porch.
Of his house?
Of that house. And then that's when I went back and then handed the gun and started doing CPR. Is when I knew when I couldn't see him anymore, I came back into the house, and I could hear the sirens weren't going, but I could hear the cars rev. What a police car sounds like.
Right.
So I knew they were coming. I could hear them. And that's when I started focusing on that and getting my son back into the house.
Did you see him go back into his house?
He cut at the corner. He stopped right at the corner of his house and turned back, but he turned back, but was still walking forward. Like looked like he was going into his house. Like it was still in there, in that yard. He wasn't on the street. He was still in the yard, in the front part.
Okay.
And then I don't know after that.
Did you see what he was doing to her?
Yes, he was beating. I heard the thump. It was like like when you drop a melon, like a pumpkin on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
That he was hitting her with. He had her by her head and was slamming her head into the cement. I could still hear.
Yeah.
The thump of him doing it, and then I think it was like maybe twice.
Because right there was your sidewalk.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like she was in the yard. Her upper torso and head were on the concrete sidewalk.
Yeah.
So
when I rolled her, she was actually on her side still, and I rolled her onto her back to do CPR, but she was on her side, facing her toward her house. But
so
yes,
right side.
Yeah, right. Yeah. From above the shoulder up. was on the cement. But
So he was.
yeah, when I rolled her over, she got more onto the.
So he was kind of maybe straddling her.
He was straddling her.
And he
yes.
was holding her head
Yeah,
and just slamming it back
slamming
and forth.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
What was he wearing?
a dark jacket, black jacket. It looked like he had a hoodie on under it, and dark colored jeans and dark shoes. Black. The first thing I remembered, my husband yelling in my head, "Look at his shoes, look at his shoes. They can't change their shoes. They don't change their shoes." I don't know why I remember that.
Does
I
he
knew
have?
who it was. So.
Does he have family in
Yes,
that
he
general
does.
area?
He's got a mother that lives, I think, on Doris Street,
Okay,
I believe
yeah.
her name is. For a while, there were people going through that to get drugs from them, going through the house in front of ours. And
Oh, I gotcha.
they stopped that.
Okay. Well, give me one more second.
Okay.
I think I've got everything. Just to confirm that, and I'll be right back.
Okay.
It's going to offer you some water, but you
Okay.
got a Coke there.
Yeah.
Miss Tammy, if I showed you a picture,
Yes, sir.
would you recognize Patrick?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Without a doubt.
Who's that?
Patrick.
That's Patrick.
Mhm.
That's who you know as the neighbor that lives right there.
Yep. But now he has all that shaved off and just that little thing hanging down.
Just this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
I know he's smoking meth. I don't know if that matters or if that. I just dawned on me. I didn't tell you guys that.
Okay.
He was.
But you said his face is all shaved except for this goatee thing.
Yeah.
What part of his face is?
I can do that one better, but yeah. But all this is gone. All of it.
Okay.
This is a recent picture within yeah, that's when I gave the police officer
Okay.
out there. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he doesn't have a hair either. That's all gone.
Okay. But that little
Just
hair
that
thing on the chin
yeah,
is
it's
okay.
got a bead in it now, I think, too.
Okay.
So that's the end of Tammy's interview. You see how much of a violent person Patrick was? Well, now I have the interview of Christian Perez. He is Tammy's son. He is going to give his version of events.
Can you go kind of play by play with what happened today at the residence?
I was just watching TV and my aunt went running outside because she said she heard something.
And that's Toni, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And we heard her yell. So we ran out there and we saw Patrick on top of Mary slamming her head into the ground. And then my aunt hit him with the shovel and he looked at her and then just walked off towards their place. I
Okay.
didn't see him walk into the house or where he went. I just saw he was going towards there.
Okay. So you actually came out of the house
Yes.
and saw him on her?
Yes.
Okay. How far away were you? Did you stay on the porch? Did you come to the fence?
I was in between where the stairs are and the gate.
Mhm.
That's when I saw him, and then that's when he got off and then started to walk away.
Okay. You remember him saying anything or
He
Mary
didn't say
saying
I
anything,
didn't
or-
hear Mary saying anything. She was quiet.
okay. Remember Toni saying anything?
No.
You said you grabbed a shovel. Where'd the shovel come from?
I think it was in our yard, like in our side of the fence. I
Near the
think
blue
she-
tarp?
Yes.
Where the rake and
Yeah.
stuff was? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about their past?
No.
Patrick and Mary's past? No?
No, I knew they were dating at one point, and that's it.
Okay.
I don't really know.
Do you know if they live together?
No, I don't.
Okay. Who mainly lived at that house on the corner? Would it be
Mary.
Mary did? Okay. Did she drive? Did she have a vehicle?
I don't think so.
Patrick have a vehicle?
No.
Do you know whose truck is at that house, that little Ford Ranger? Did either one of them drive that?
I think that was either Mary's or her nephew's.
Okay. So it might have belonged to Mary.
Yeah.
Okay. Before Toni heard the noise, the commotion, went outside, had you heard anything prior to that?
Nothing at all.
Had you witnessed them doing anything in the yard? Had you been outside and seen anything at all?
No.
Okay. So, pretty much Toni went outside, your mom went outside, and then were you next, or was
Yes.
your grandmother next?
I was next.
Okay. Would you recognize Patrick?
Yes.
Okay. Let me see if I can grab a photo. And pretty harmless, huh? Alright. Give me 1 second. You need water or anything?
No, I'm okay.
I feel bad for Christian. He's clearly traumatized. That's why his interview is quite short. And now we have Toni Gabau. She was Mary's best friend.
All right. I'm Investigator Tatum. And of course, you understand that we're investigating this homicide. How close were you to the decedent?
Best friends.
Best friends? Okay. And what is her name, dear? I'm sorry, I didn't get it. What is
Mary Williams.
Mary Williams? Okay. How long have you known Miss Williams?
Year, almost a couple of 2 years.
Since she moved over there across the street right there. All right. What was her relationship like? Has she always been there with Patrick?
No, he was there for about a year, and then they broke up. Probably, I want to say maybe June, July, something like that.
Of last year?
Yeah,
Okay.
and then they kind of got back together.
When?
Just this year, I want to maybe around Christmas.
Okay. So they were broke up maybe 6 months?
Yeah, and he come back. You know, she let him come back, and he has beat her up before. I told her to call the cops, or I was going to call him. She didn't want me to.
Did the cops ever get called over there
No,
for
I
that?
don't think she did. No.
Okay.
And he beat her up pretty good. You know, he.
Had you seen it happen, or did she just come over beat up? Or you seen her after the
I was
fact?
coming home just as he was finished beating her up.
Were they outside or what?
They were in, but coming. She was trying to get out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to try to, and then when he seen me coming around the corner, you know, driving, he hauled back in the house.
When was this?
I'm trying to think. I'm going to say it back in January.
Okay.
Beginning of January.
Beginning of January.
Yeah.
All right. All right. And then, have you seen anything since then leading up to tonight?
No.
Has she said anything to you about anything going on?
No.
Any arguments or anything like
No.
that? All right.
And she usually would, you know, just because of, she feared that, you know, he was going to end up, you know, from the last time when you beat her, you know, he had
Does he
told,
usually beat her with his fist?
yeah, probably, and whatever else he can slam her off of, probably.
Do they drink?
She drinks.
She
He
does.
might, every once in a while, he's probably on meth or ice.
Okay. So he does narcotics.
Yeah, he
Does
just
she
recently,
does she do any type of narcotics that she knows?
she used to, no, maybe crack, but it was a while ago.
Okay.
I don't know if they've been recent.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I can't even.
So tell me what happened tonight.
I was laying in bed and I was watching TV and I heard somebody yell, Toni. And I thought it was her voice.
Well, let me ask you this real quick. Standing at the front door of your trailer, your bedroom is to the right.
Yeah, to the
So
right.
you-
I was right up
So
front
you'd be
where my
right
truck
there
is.
closest to her.
Right,
Okay.
right. That where that fan is in the window there,
Mhm.
that's where I would on that
Okay.
side. And I thought I heard her voice, and I hear it. She just got one breath out to say my name.
Mm-hmm.
And I come out running. He grabbed her. She was on the grass. He grabbed her and literally just wham, wham. I mean,
How did he grab her?
by her hair.
He grabbed her by the hair?
Yeah.
Was he standing over top of her?
Yes.
Did he say anything to you?
No, I was gonna hit him with a shovel. I hit him with a shovel. Get him off of her.
So where was the shovel at?
It was right by my fence. I didn't hit him, but I got him off of her and I said, get. And then I come in and called the cops. Called you guys not you, but the cops real fast. To try to get her help, and then we just tried to save her.
Okay. Now, she was laying on the grass. You heard her call your name. Did you look out the window and see
I come out the door.
So you immediately came out the door?
Yes. I heard that, and I'm out the door. Because usually, that time it's...
And he was on top of her, beating her.
Yeah, she was on the grass, and he literally just grabbed her up by her hair and put her head on the cement and just smashing it. And all you hear is her head smashing against that cement.
Okay. And did she ever say anything else after that?
No, he killed her right then after he hit her.
Do you know, were you the only one outside when this took place?
When he hit her, bashed her head, yes.
Okay.
I know my sister and them were coming after, but I don't.
You don't know when they came out?
It wasn't real long after. I don't know if my sister seen him or heard it as she was coming up, because it was loud. I mean, yeah.
Now, when you hit him with the shovel, what did he do then?
Nothing. He just looked at me in my eyes, dead in my eyes.
Did he didn't say anything?
Mm-mm.
Did he run off? Did he walk off?
He walked off.
Which way did he go?
Towards that house. Towards
their house?
Yeah, that way. I thought he went that way, but see, when he was going, my sister was out in the yard to try to protect her. Mm-hmm. I went in because none of us had a phone on us. We weren't, I run in the house to call. Mm-hmm. So all I seen him was go towards that house. And that's it.
Okay. Do you know anywhere he would go?
Yes, I took him to everywhere he would go.
Where would he go? Where's some places he would go? Where do you think he'd be right now?
The places I thought he would either be his little trailer that he's got, the little camper trailer.
Where's that at?
It's Inslee and what did that cop say the name of that? Scottsdale? No, what? Sunny Boy?
Inslee and Sunny Boy?
Yeah.
He has a trailer over there?
Yeah, when you turn, if you're coming down Inslee to Sunny Boy, mm-hmm. and you make a left, you go down just a little bit, and there's a house, and then there's bushes, and there's a little road back there. There's some houses back there too. Mm-hmm. And he's got a camper to the left.
Okay.
I took the cops there. That's the first place we went.
Oh, you rode with them over there?
Oh, yes, I did. Okay. Yeah.
And of course nobody was there then.
And then I took him by the drug dealer that's right by the house, which I know they would probably hide him. Mm-hmm. He wasn't there, but my gut tells me that the one that the officer talked to over there, he's a younger male, mm-hmm. He was letting him know that they were trying to find him,
right.
And he didn't. He took him somewhere. He either took him away towards his trailer way, mm-hmm. and dropped him off. And then I called you guys.
Then did he stay in that camper over there as well as that house, or just bounce back and forth, or did he mainly stay with her?
Mainly stayed with her unless they got into an argument, and he just didn't want to hear, and then he'd go to his trailer.
Okay.
Or go to his mom's.
And his mom, she still live on Doris over there?
Yeah, it's
right close by?
Yeah, it's on the corner of Doris, and I don't know the name of that road at that stop sign. It's not K Road, it's the one after.
Yeah, we have the address for her mom over there.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if it was still a good address for her.
Well, he was staying over there when they kind of got into it, mm-hmm. at the time when they weren't.
So he has been staying with his mom?
Yeah. He'd go over there and,
Okay. Anything else that you can think of right now in reference to this? And you know Patrick personally? Okay.
Yeah, I was friends with him.
How long have you known him?
As long as I know her.
So 2 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's never did drugs before, but he's been really bad on drugs. She had told me that he was doing meth meth, I think it was. And that's when he beat her up that time.
Okay.
Hey, I know Investigator Tatum was just talking to you. I'm Sergeant Barnes. When they called us, patrol, of course, the guys in uniform and stuff, but they get the call, and then they let us know there's a homicide. And so we start heading that way. So we're not privy to all the details yet till we get there.
Yeah.
And the way I come in, I come down 9 Mile Road and turned on Kimstrand there by the Taco Bell.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, when you come down and you get to Inslee Street.
Yeah, you make that road.
Okay.
Yes.
And when I'm pretty sure I did.
Oh, God, did you get him?
No, I didn't even know it was him. This was before we even got on scene. But this is what I want to ask you, because you mentioned he had a trailer. But
yeah,
see,
he does. It's on Sunny Boy.
Okay, Sunny Boy, is right down here off of Inslee. You got to cross over.
Yeah, cross over.
Okay, but when I made the turn onto Inslee Street, coming from this way, I turned. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it was this one, but I think it was this one. Either Grimsley or it could have been Faye. He was standing right there on the corner because he looked at me, but I didn't notice the little gray thing here, but it looked like everything was shaved pretty close, and he looked bald as I was passing.
Yes, he did, but he was not.
Skinny.
Yeah. And he's real skinny. Yeah.
So, does he have any ties on either Grimsley Street or Faye or anything, or you think he was trying to take these back roads?
I think he was trying to take the back roads, so, of his trailer, because he's probably not thinking you guys know of that. You know what I'm saying?
The other officer said you took the deputy.
Yes, I sure did.
In the trailer, where's it at on Sunny Boy? What?
It's very hard to explain because, okay.
Well, here, let me pull it up on the map.
Well, it's got a little road that don't have a street sign.
Uh-huh.
And there's a couple houses back there off of Sunny Boy before you make that big curve down towards the end of it, I guess. Uh-huh. It's that dirt little road.
Yeah, it used to not go through, but it goes through now.
Yeah, and there's houses right back there. There's a camper
go down
trailer.
Sunny Boy to Crum or whatever, where it comes and makes that curve by the apartments are back over in the corner.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that way. I think so.
Yeah, because see, here's Johnson Avenue and Sunny Boy.
Okay. And
then Inslee would have come straight across there. So
Sunny Boy, right here, that little road thing here.
That's where it's at.
That's it. That's like the dirt road, right? There's
yes.
You can't, there's a house and then it's wide open spot. And there's a big tree and a big bush. It's right back there.
What kind of, is it a camper or a trailer?
Camper. Just like a little pull behind kind of camper.
Okay. I don't know if the officer asked you, did you have his cell number or anything?
No, you know what? I don't.
Does anybody here with you have his cell number?
No. I'm trying to think. You know what? She used my mom's Obama phone. Mm-hmm. And I think it has his number on there.
Your mom out here?
But she don't have it. It's at home.
Okay.
We didn't bring it, but I think it might be. I know it's like a 288. You know that Metro PCS store right there by the fire? That's where he got the phone.
Is it a flip phone or a smartphone?
No, a smartphone. We kind of like this.
Okay.
I think he's got the exact phone, but the different color.
Okay. Do you think he's got it on him?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure of it because I know recently she told me he just got it on and she wanted to use it, but he wouldn't let her, so she borrowed.
What do they argue about most? Is it like him stepping out on her or something, or what?
No, he's doing meth.
And
yeah, he has beat her up once before, not real long, maybe a month or so ago. And I told her, I'm like, call the cops. Call them. She goes, no, we'll just let it lie, because I think he's got mental.
Are they married?
No. They're just dating.
For how long?
They dated for almost about a year, and then they broke up for about 6 months, and then they just, maybe end of December, January, just got back together.
Is that her house?
Yes.
And he moved back in with her?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. What about, does she have children?
No.
No children? Somebody said something that she may have a sister or cousin.
She has a sister.
That's terminal.
Dying. So God,
cancer.
Please don't.
Is she in some type of care under?
No, she's at home. I don't know who's taking care of her.
Well, we have to know. I know. Next to kin.
Ronnie. What the hell is Ronnie's name? Ronnie. It's Ronald. I think he went under Williams. You can look him up. He's a registered pedophile. Sorry.
How old is he? Is he younger or older? And her?
He's younger. He's
Okay.
probably around my age. I'm 44, so he's probably around maybe a little bit older than me. 45, 46. I think it's like Ronald. I think he went by Williams, but it's something.
Okay, we can probably find it, no problem. And what about the sister? Is her sister older or younger?
Older.
Older?
Yeah,
Okay.
and then she had one other sister that actually lived there.
Uh-huh.
She passed away.
Oh, damn. Runs in the family, huh? Gotcha. Okay. Give us just a few, all right? Be back with you, all right?
Am I allowed to use a restroom?
Absolutely.
Because I need to go pee my pants.
Toni is distraught about what happened to her best friend. It seems maybe she saw it coming, knowing what Patrick is like. Now, this is the final interview. This is Donna Bud.
My understanding, you, Toni, Tammy, and Christian all live together, and her husband, Tammy's husband. Is that right? They all live at the address? Okay.
Yeah.
You've lived there about a year. Is that correct?
Mary? Or
Y'all.
myself?
You.
No, we've lived there about 5 years.
Okay. So they moved up to live with you.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. You've lived there the longest then out of everybody. Do you know if you're standing at your house with your back to it and you look to your right toward the intersection of Inslee and Mayflower, that house on the corner?
You mean Mary's house?
Mary's house.
Okay.
Okay. So, do you know Mary?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you know her?
I met Mary when, just before Mary moved in there to help her sister, and her sister died and passed away. So Mary lived in the house, and that's how we, I helped her out with food, whatever she needed help with, I tried to help her.
Okay. So you've known her for a while, just being a good neighbor.
Yeah. I want to say at least 3 years.
Okay. And what about her boyfriend?
Patrick.
Mm-hmm. How do you know him?
From Mary.
Same amount of time?
Pardon?
Same amount of time? How long?
Well,
do you...
no. Not as long, I don't think.
And they were just dating, right? They weren't married or anything.
What year? Or when they started dating?
No, they were just dating. They weren't married.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Just dating.
The relationship between Patrick and Mary, do you know prior problems?
It was good at first, except she was getting tired of him laying up not doing anything. And they split up for a little bit. And then they got back together. And Patrick, I didn't know, did drugs. Okay. But he got into taking that, I think it's called ice. And there was a bad thing happen just, I want to say like maybe 2 months ago. And they split up again. They got back together again, and then that's what happened. Okay.
So you do know Patrick from seeing him with her?
Oh, yeah.
Did he ever come over to your house and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, he'd come over there. He loved the dog I got. And I think he was infatuated kind of with Toni, and Toni didn't,
Gotcha.
have anything to do with that. But he did, I got him doing yard work for different people around there.
Mm-hmm.
Try to help them out. But other than that, that was about it.
Okay. On today's date, can you kind of just run me through what you remember, what you saw?
What happened?
Yes, ma'am.
We were laying in bed, and all of a sudden, we heard Mary scream, "Toni." Well, Toni jumped up so fast and got out there. It took me a few minutes to get out there, okay? And I got out there just as she was taking and hitting Patrick with that shovel. And she was screaming at him, and he was backing up, and then he took off, over by the house. And that's when I looked down and seen Mary. Then we tried to help her, and
right.
nothing we could do.
Right. So when you came out of the house, did you stay on the porch for a little bit?
On my porch?
You're right.
No, I was right out by Mary because Tammy was helping trying to...
When you got there, he was already off of Mary? Patrick was already off Mary?
Yeah.
And he had already been hit?
Yeah, she was laying on the ground.
Okay.
And
so at that point, he was kind of backing away.
Yeah, that's when Toni, when I got out, Toni was just had the shovel and hit him really hard with the shovel. It kind of backed him up a little bit. Mm-hmm. And he took off around to the side of the house.
Okay. Okay. So you didn't see him on top of her?
No.
Okay.
No.
Do you remember him saying anything?
About killing her?
Or just anything in particular?
He has said that before. Just,
anything
he's going to make me end up killing her.
Oh, really?
You know, just in a conversation thing, I'm thinking that, you know, Patrick didn't seem like that. Then all of a sudden he got sick like crazy or something. But then I found out that because one day he was outside and he went from morning until night, all the next day till that night, out there doing crazy exercise things, hours and hours and hours.
Hmm.
That's when he ended up doing that. Mary said it was ice that he did.
Drugs are bad. Drugs are bad. Yeah.
And because he would hang over, that's why I thought that he might be over, you know, across from us in that house. But they did check over there. Toni took him over there because that's a drug house. You know, they've been trying to get him. They got one of them out of there last week. They had a bust and got one of them, but it's still a mess there. And they're the ones that the stuff's coming from.
Right. Okay. Would you recognize Patrick if I showed you a picture?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, let me see if I can grab a photo. And I'll be right back.
Okay.
That's Patrick, and that's who you saw getting hit with the shovel.
Yeah.
Because you didn't see him on top of her.
That was in my yard. I didn't see him on top of her, but he's the one that was in my yard, right? Not far from her.
Okay.
When
getting
Toni
hit with a shovel.
So that's the end of all the interviews. Patrick was sentenced to life in prison for the murder of Mary. What a classless bastard. Comment, tell me what you think.